Welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willis. Today we have the honor of speaking to Senor Clarence Miller. Clarence is throwing himself into the fold to become the Commissioner of Harris County, Commissioner of District 4. Did I say that right, Mr. Precinct?
Commissioner of Harris County Precinct 4.
Harris County Precinct 4. Welcome to Politics Done Right. Clarence Miller, how are you doing today, sir?
I am just fantastic, and I'm just excited that you gave me an opportunity to come on your show and talk to your great listeners. I've heard a lot of great, fantastic things about you, and so I've just been anxiously waiting with anticipation. So thank you.
Well, look, wow, that makes me kind of feel good, but you make me, you're concerning me. But actually, let me just give a disclaimer here. We are an unabashedly fair program, and not only that, we invite all good people who want to represent the people here to our program. And we know that you're a good person, and you know that you support all the important causes in our community. So I want to tell you that it is our honor to have you here on Politics Done Right. So let's go ahead and get busy, okay?
Okay.
Why exactly do you want to throw yourself into the commissioner's race? I mean, it's not like that is the most glamorous of all political offices. So why do you want to go there?
Well, let me tell you exactly how it happened for me. Back in 2018, when the current commissioner actually won, we kind of know each other, and I was actually congratulating him. And as I was congratulating him, if you believe, and I'm only speaking to the believers, the spirit was so intense, it told me to run for his office. It kind of frightened me, and I had to look around and see who the spirit was talking to, because I had never experienced anything like this in my life. And I said, well, I don't even saying to myself, I don't even know what a commissioner do. So I had to go back to my office and actually Google what a commissioner did. And once I did, I discovered that everything I've been doing probably the last 16 years is what a commissioner does. For instance, I was one of the first general manager directors of a utility district. But in my life, I've learned that when God commands you to do something, you don't question it. You just go ahead and just do it. So since then, I've been actively campaigning for this particular job, and so I've never questioned it since then. But then when I looked at it, I looked and I saw that I didn't like the direction that the country was going in. I didn't like a lot of people that were in office, and I didn't think that they might have been good people, but they just wasn't really doing a good job for the people. Okay, and I have been always raised to give back to the community, and I feel that that's a great quality. One of the most important qualities a politician or a leader must have. He must be concerned about the people and take care of the people, okay?
Absolutely. Now, let me ask you something. First of all, what makes you qualified?
Well, first of all, I was with the U.S. Postal Service for 29 years. While with the U.S. Postal Service, I ran their entire career awareness conference. I was on a board for the Women Advisory Board, and we made sure that women rights were taken care of and they received promotion. But I ran to be on the board for the Houston Postal Credit Union, which is +4 today. And when I came in, they only had 10 million. When I left, we had $50 million. And I was a union member as well for 29 years. So after that, I was a small business owner in real estate, loan officer, insurance, even had a residential commercial pressure washing business. And I did that well over 15, 20 years. But for the last 16 years, I was one of the first general manager directors of a utility district. And when I came into the utility district, they were $10 million in debt. In fact, I hired the attorney, the tax assessor, the engineer, the operator, all the consultants at my kitchen table. They just built a $2.5 million wastewater plant. Waste was right on the side, and someone said, well, it'll be okay, it will cure. I never heard of that before, so I voted to sue the developer. I'm the only one with the litigation. I won $112,000, and they had to repair the plant, and I'm not an attorney. within 5 years, due to my leadership, and at that time they made me president, we had over $5 million that I invested in the infrastructure. So my community has never flooded. Within 7 years, I built a multi-million-dollar community center off of Hollister and the Beltway. And when I built the center, I created a senior citizen program where I would not only help cook the food, I picked up the food and I put the tables and chairs out, even gave the seniors a black tie ball. And so then I would try to get different organizations and stores to give me donated money so I can really help the seniors out a little bit more. But I discovered that since I didn't have a 501c at the time, they'd give me like a turkey or two. So I became a founder of a 501c just so I could take care of my seniors, which is called Project Dylan, named after my grandson. And so that way we began giving the seniors gift cards, and we give them black tie balls, take them on trips, and just, heaters, taking care of the seniors, And then my senior said it was dark coming home. So we live on the corner of Bama North Houston, the Beltway. So we installed lights all up and down the medium. So it's very unusual to see those kind of lights in an area like this. Usually it's the Galleria. So people are kind of amazed and shocked when they turn the corner and see those beautiful lights. And then the monument in my community was 40 years old. So we built a new monument. And my community only had one good road going in and out. They were driving across a lot. So we bought the lot and built them a brand new road. The community only had a fence going around the perimeter. So we built them a brick wall, a beautiful brick wall. And then we installed cameras at each entrance. We're currently building a $3.7 million park. Now we started off $10 million in debt. All these projects are paid for in cash. And the way we did it was we held the contractors accountable and cut the governmental waste. It was just that simple, And so the other unique thing about me was when I came into the district, I noticed that nobody like me or no minority was really getting a piece of the pie. And so I opened it up for minority contractors and vendors. In fact, I am responsible for over $500,000 into a minority-owned bank. I encourage my district to invest $240,000, but I also encourage another district to do the same. So that's why I say I'm responsible for $500,000 in that bank. Because utility districts have millions of dollars. They're not allowed to invest in stocks and, but they can invest, just put money in a bank. So why not put some in a minority-owned bank? That was my thinking. The other good thing, like I said, about me was that what I would do whenever we had a project, I would actively go out and seek contractors that I thought was qualified to bid on these jobs. And, if they weren't qualified, I'd assist them in getting qualified to bid on the jobs, And so I'm going to do the same thing as commissioner for Precinct 4. I'm going to make sure that I represent all the people, regardless if you vote for me or not. But I'm going to make sure everybody is represented and everybody get a piece of the pie, because I believe that that's what a good commissioner should do.
Mr. Miller, let me stop you right there, though, because it seems to me like we could go on and on and on. One of the answers that I was looking for, the only answer that I was looking for, is that because I care. Okay. Because but you gave me the answer because I care by showing us that you cared, by doing all those things that are out there. So I mean, I think first of all, I'm in awe that you were able to do all those things in your community. We need a whole lot more people that think community more than anything else. I don't know how much of my show you listen to, but that is all that we're about, making sure that we take care of each other, etc. I always call ourselves, or we're all our brothers and sisters keepers. Now, the question is how politically involved have you been in the county?
Not very at all. As a director of a utility district, you actually, people in my community actually had to vote for me, but we only had 350 homes, And so I was one of the first elected officials of my utility district. They had not had election over 20 years. And I was at home one day and received a notice that they needed somebody on the board. And I actually applied, and they told me no, if I wanted to get on the board to run. So I went, knocked on some doors and got me 20 votes, and I was a director of the mud district.
So that is good. I mean, the thing about the reason I didn't mean to be completely funny when I asked you about that, but the reality is we all know that there are machines and operatives in every county in Texas and every county in the country. How are you going to supersede that machine and get to the people to put yourself out there and say, hey, I'm actually a viable candidate?
Well, that's another reason why I've been out here almost 4 years already, knocking on doors, talking to people. I've had voter registrations in my driveway. We do food drives all over, taking care of the people. And for instance, there's a community out in Old Time Spring. They called me and said, Mr. Miller, can you help us? I said, what do you need? They said, well, you know, we need water, we need sanitary supplies, we need school supplies. Within 2 weeks, I had assembled a team, and we gave them school supplies, we gave them water. I had Spring HISD police out there with a therapy dog. I had Beto O'Rourke people out there registering people to vote. And I had a organization out there called NACA that was signing people up to get government loans, you know, for homes. You know. So to answer your question is that I've been out here 4 years already, knocking on doors, talking to people. I probably attend 3 to 4 events every week, and I've been doing that for the last 4 years. I'm all on social media, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, you name it. And I do realize and understand what you're saying about the machine. But I'm gonna tell you something. One of the things that I've realized since I've been out here so long is that I've been able to talk to people in all political arenas, from Republicans to independent, and they all want one thing. They want somebody that actually care and will actually go in there and do the job.
What is the demographics of your district?
You know, it's kind of funny. I had been in precinct 4 for over 40 some years, and I don't know if you're aware of it, they just redistricted this whole area, okay? So the home that I was living in is in precinct 1 now. And so we had to relocate to Katy just so we could, you know, stay in the race, you know? But I think the demographic is I think the whites are probably about 50%, Hispanic about 40%, and blacks probably around about 18%, and Asians probably 7-8%. Yeah. But you know what? At the end of the day, regardless of what party you're with, no one wants to see the home flood. At the end of the day, people are tired of potholes. At the end of the day, you know, people are tired of going to work. And you know what I tell people is like this. You know, we're living in a society now where kids cannot be kids. My grandson just turned 8 years old, and we were not able to really actually have a birthday celebration. We had to do a drive-by, you know. They're out in the driveway, and we had to drive by waving at them, okay? Now, the mothers, you know, can't go to work. They have to stay home and homeschool the kids. The fathers are having to work 2 jobs, you know, taxes are so high, you know. Now they got to come home and also help the kids. Now you got grandparents that can't afford to stay retired because they got to go out there and work for Walmart or whatever, you know, in their 70s and 80s. That's just not right. And so when I look at the country, the county, you know, I cannot just sit around and not do my part. You know, I want to do my part to help, you know, my community, you know, my county and my country. And that is why I am running. You know, you have a lot of people that just jumped into this race. I've been out here for 4 years. Now that they've redistricted, they feel like it's winnable. But even when it was supposed to be a red state, I had no fear, because I felt that even whoever, Republican, Independents, whoever, were just looking for somebody that can do the job. Now, they might not tell their friends that they would vote for me, but at the end of the day, when they go behind that booth, they're going to vote for the person that can do the job. And I feel that that's really what it's all about. Okay?
Clarence, it sounds like you listen to politics done right every so often, because that's the way I tell people to vote for progressives in my arena. I tell them, remember, vote your heart, vote what you need for your community, because when you vote behind the curtains, it's between you, your vote, and your God. So if you can remember that, you can get to anybody. And I think that is very, very important. And I think what I love hearing from you right now is that you're talking about breaking that false ethnic barrier. And I don't say that disparagingly at all. I say that meaning that some of us allow ourselves too often to remain in a box. And what I like about what you've had to say thus far is expanding the box of not saying I am going to simply. I asked you the demographic question, and you turned the demographic question into I don't care, which is something that I admire, because it goes out and it says, I'm going there to win your vote, not to win your vote because of what you look like or what I look like.
Right. You know, when I fed my senior citizens or took care of my senior citizens, I didn't ask them what political party they belonged to. Didn't care. You know, only thing I asked was, hey, are you actually a senior? Are you of age? You're welcome. You know, so I never asked a person, you know, what party they're with when I'm talking to them. A person come to me and they need some, I'm gonna help them out, because I'm originally from Huntsville, Texas, which is about 45 minutes from Houston. I was raised in a 4-room house. I'm not talking about a 4-bedroom house. It was, 8 siblings. We had a living room, a kitchen, and 2 bedrooms. And when my mom would cook, she'd always cook food for the neighbors. And I'd say, Mother, why are you always giving our food away? And my mother would say, son, you always have to help the poor folks. I said, well, Mother, whether you realize or not, we are really poor. She said, boy, we're not poor. I said, really? And one day I went to a friend's house and they had all this food. I said, man, how y'all get all this food? He said, man, we get food stamps. I said, well, what are food stamps? And he explained them to me. I ran home to tell my mother, I said, Mother, you know, they got something called food stamps and we can go get some. My mother turned around and said, boy, that's for the poor folks. I said, Mother, we're really poor. So I didn't grow up with a poor mindset, even though, you know, because even though I was poor, I didn't grow up with a poor mindset.
You know, that I don't know if you understand. I don't know if you get it. That is a powerful statement right there. Okay. That is a powerful statement. And I think I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to ask you 2 last questions, and I'm going to ask you, let's wrap this up in about 3 minutes. The first question is about why should someone vote for Clarence Miller? And the last question, I'm giving you both of them so that you can think about the last one ahead of time. And the last one is, what should I have asked you that I didn't?
Okay. The first question, which is a great question, why should someone vote for Clarence Miller? If I wasn't Clarence Miller, I'd vote for him. You know, and I'm not being funny with that response. I'm very serious, because I was raised, as I just told you that story, to be a very caring person and to give back. I've been on the front line even before the pandemic. My wife and I, assisting the kids, assisting the senior citizens, and I did all that, not even thinking about running for a higher office. And I even told you the story about how it came to me to run for this particular office, because I promise you, it was nothing I've never thought about in my entire life. But when God gives you a mission, that's what you do. So as I told you earlier, whether people vote for me or not, I'm still going to take care of you, because I'm going to be the hardest working person, which I always have been, that you will ever see, because I realize this job is just not a 9 to 5. It's a 24/7, 365-day job, and I'm up for the task. I feel that I'm highly qualified to step in day one, because for the last 16 years, that's all I've ever done. I've been doing is working with the infrastructure. It's what a commissioner does. Commissioner take care of your roads, your bridges. They set on the board, set tax rate. That's what I've been doing. And so where most candidates, are just getting on board because they feel like it's winnable. I've always felt it was winnable, because I only look at people as people. And, people are tired of their homes flooded, So I'm ready to do the job, okay? And what was that other question? I forgot. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. You muted.
I can't believe that you didn't get that question. What would you have liked me to ask you that I didn't?
Oh, okay. What would I like you to ask me that I didn't? Okay. I guess, what are my concerns? Being commissioner.
So what are your concerns?
My concerns, I guess, would be is that I won't be able to work and put the number of hours and time in as I want to, because even if I work 7 days a week, 24 hours a week, 365 days, I'm going to always feel like I can do more. So that would be my concern, that I'm still not doing enough. Does that make sense to you?
That makes absolutely, that is, anybody who sits down and believe that they've done enough and they're done, that's somebody that really isn't for any particular job. I work 16 hours a day doing what I do. I'm not telling anybody else to do 16 hours a day. I'm just saying. But that's a type of feeling that I believe leaders or people who want others to follow them should have. So I think that is commendable. Clarence Miller, candidate for Precinct 4, Harris County. It's been my pleasure to have you on Politics Done Right. I wish you the best.
Yes,
you
sir.
have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too. Thank you, sir.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.